Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Star Trek Wars Patreon show, your bi-weekly series that focuses on all things old Trek, while our main feed covers everything new. My name is Jeremy, and thank you so much for being a Patreon member. You are the reason why the podcast continues to exist. So, Chelsea and I decided to start this podcast as a thank you for your patronage. If you're listening to the main podcast, you know that at this point we have covered all 716 episodes of the original 5 Star Trek series and the 10 original Prime Timeline movies. Now with Jordan and Jocelyn taking over the helm of the podcast and taking care of all the things future Trek, Chelsea and I thought it would be fun to focus on looking back. With so many episodes watched and scores tallied, there's a lot of history here that we can play around with. Plus, with Chelsea relatively new to Trek, we figured this could be a fun way for her to watch with fresh eyes all these episodes and series we have memorized and hold dear. And she's here with me now. Hello, Chelsea.
Hello, Jeremy.
Now, over the course... Good to have you here, Chelsea.
Yes, thanks for having me.
Over the course of the next 20 weeks, we're going to begin the Star Trek Wars Patreon show by looking at the top 10 episodes of the first 5 series. Tonight, we're going to discuss the number 10 episodes of the original series, Next Gen, Deep Space Nine, Voyager, and Enterprise, as ranked by the average score comprised of us, the co-hosts, and you guys that voted on our Facebook page. This is actually something, Chelsea, I vowed to never do again, and that's watch 5 episodes of Star Trek for a podcast.
Oh.
It's grueling, and I hope you know what you signed up for.
Okay, I think you're forgetting that I also used to watch those episodes with you, except for the difference was I didn't give a shit. So that was really grueling.
But things have changed.
I guess we'll see.
So we haven't watched them yet. So let's talk about these episodes we're going to discuss tonight, Chelsea, and how familiar you may or may not be with some of them.
Yes.
Before we watch them all and come back and discuss. Some of them you might be aware of more than others, but we'll do a little fun thing with that. First up, for the original series, we're going to be discussing the Season 1 episode, Space Seed. Now, I'm going to give you a synopsis of the episode with key names and plot points removed.
Okay.
And you can guess the missing pieces. It's kind of like Mad Libs. Coincidentally, that's what my neighbors are when I rev my Freedom Chopper outside in my American flag do-rag.
It's true, folks. They get so angry.
Oh, yeah. I'm owning those Mad Libs.
Gosh.
All right, Chelsea. Here we go. Space Seed. A blank spaceship bearing the blank of a past civilization held in blank drifts into the path of the Enterprise. Let's start with a blank...
Abandoned?
An abandoned spaceship bearing the blank of a past...
The people?
Okay. We'll lock in people.
Okay.
An abandoned spaceship bearing the people of a past civilization.
Oh, that doesn't sound good.
That's great.
I want to change
Locked in, held in blank.
Stasis.
Okay. Stasis.
Pods.
Ooh, I like this. Stasis pods.
Little space coffins.
Drifts into the path of the Enterprise.
Yes.
Okay. All right, we have that locked. We'll see how close you are.
I'm very close because I've seen that episode, sir.
Next, on The Next Generation, episode 10 from The Next Generation we'll be watching is from season 3, and it's an episode called Deja Q.
Oh, God, okay.
Picard's nemesis, blank,
Q.
claiming to have lost his blank,
Powers.
appears on the Enterprise. Some of, same as first answers, Q's blank arrive.
Cohorts. It's like his other Q's.
Arrive to blank is blank.
Ooh, nasty. To redistribute his powers. Although that was much too tempting to go in a very gross direction.
That's why I put it there.
I'm here to blank the blank. Blank your blank.
I'm here to blank your blank.
Hi, are you Q? I'm here to blank your blank.
All right. I set up a trap. You didn't fall for it. Well done.
Yeah, I'm doing good. No promises later, though.
Then we'll be heading over to Deep Space Nine for the season 5 episode called Children of Time. The investigation of a planet surrounded by a blank reveals a colony founded by blank when the blank caused them to crash blank years in the past. All right, so the investigation of a planet surrounded by what's a planet surrounded by?
Atmosphere.
Yep. Perfect. Reveals a colony founded by blank.
Is this a species?
That's for you to tell me.
Oh, Lord.
Who founded this colony?
Space people.
Okay. Now, when this atmosphere causes them to crash blank years in the past.
Is, I have to have a number?
Yeah.
Oh. What year is DS9 set in this season?
It starts at this season is probably...
Actually, no. Original series.
The original series?
Is what, like 2300?
2200. Like 2260s.
Okay, so I'm going to say, does it have to be a specific number?
No, it's like how many years in the past do they crash?
Oh, frick, I can't do math. I was thinking like the mid-1900s.
Okay. We'll just say in the mid-1900s.
Okay, sorry about that.
No problem. All right. Answers are locked and loaded. Let's head over to Voyager for Voyager's 10th best episode. We'll be watching a season 6 episode called Tinker, Tenor, Doctor, Spy. This character's colorful blanks are intercepted by blank, who glean enough information about blank to blank. All right?
Okay.
This character's...
I'm assuming it's the doctor, so like his, I don't know, like...
Okay, so...
Data files?
The doctor's colorful blanks are intercepted.
Oh, crap. What are they called? Like his protocols? No, that's not right. But
colorful protocols are... That's nice.
Yeah, it's nice to be so wrong.
Are intercepted by blank.
The Borg.
Ooh, like this.
To assimilate.
Who glean enough information about blank to blank.
To assimilate.
Information about to assimilate? It's not the blank to assimilate.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, God, now I'm confused.
Glean enough information about blank.
EMHs.
To assimilate?
Oh, that didn't make sense, does it? Not even a little bit. You can't assimilate something that's fake. This is hard because I just want to tell you what I think happens. Okay.
Oh, you certainly can.
So the doctor has these cool tricks, which we've covered, and then somebody hacks those basically.
The Borg.
The Borg, yeah. Is that locked in?
You could go. You could revert.
I don't even know.
Who intercepts these colorful protocols?
I don't know. Let's go with the Ferengi.
Okay. They glean enough information about...
To clone him.
About cloning.
I think it's about EMHs to clone him.
Okay. About EMHs to clone him.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think it's the Ferengi, but that's fine. Because I don't know who else you find out there where they're at.
That's right. Not yet. You don't know enough about Voyager.
No.
And finally, we'll take a look at the season 3 episode of Enterprise, which you know even less than Voyager.
I've seen one episode.
It's called Damage. All right. This character has been returned to Enterprise by the Blank Council, awaiting a hearing. But after a heavy attack by the Blank, the Enterprise is stranded without a functional blank. All right. So let's start with who do you think's the main character? This character. How many characters of Enterprise do you think you could name?
Lady Vulcan.
T'Pol.
T'Pol.
All right. So you're going to go with T'Pol?
Vulcan High Council.
All right.
Is that a thing?
Yep.
Or is it the Senate? No, that's a Romulan Senate.
It's been returned to Enterprise by the Vulcan High Council.
I don't think that doesn't. I mean, I've only ever heard the Klingon High Council, but I don't remember there being Klingons in the one episode I saw of Enterprise.
Awaiting a hearing. But after a heavy attack by the Blank.
The Breen.
Ooh.
Wait, no, the Zindi.
Whoa.
Yeah.
How do you know about the Zindi?
Because I've heard it in passing.
The Enterprise is stranded without a functional
Ship.
A little vague, but we'll accept that. We'll see if that's right.
Transportation service.
Are you ready to watch these episodes?
I am.
And figure out how close you came to this? All right. And in the end, we will see if your rankings are aligned with the official Star Trek Wars scores.
Ooh.
All right, guys.
No pressure.
We're going to go. And when we come back, we'd have watched all 5 of these episodes. Hopefully they're as good as Chelsea thinks they could be.
Yes.
We'll be right back.
Be right back.
All right. We are back, and we just watched all 5 episodes in one long sitting, something I never did in the history of Star Trek Wars. 5 back-to-back, to-back, to back-to-back. It was a blurry fury of Trek. So let's see what stuck with Chelsea. Chelsea, I'm sure you have thoughts. So why don't we start with the number 10 TOS episode, Space Seed. The original series, Season 1, Episode 23, Space Seed. A derelict spaceship bearing the survivors of a past civilization held in suspended animation drifts into the path of the USS Enterprise. Is the correct synopsis. Let's see, Chelsea, how close you came with yours. An abandoned spaceship bearing the people of a past civilization held in stasis pods drifts into the path of the Enterprise. Chelsea, I think we could say that is very close.
Okay.
I think we can count that. All right. So you're off to a good start with your synopsis.
Yeah.
Granted, this is an episode you've seen before.
Yes. Yeah, don't get too excited about me being right.
Now, do you have any questions before we get into the observations for this one? I imagine the questions are going to come more towards the end of the episode, but not so much for original series.
I don't think I do have any question. Well, is that really Khan's hair for real?
Well, I don't. Okay, so it should be said, I am a lover of Trek, but I am not an expert. I'm also not a wig expert.
All right. So you're implying it's a wig?
I think it's a wig, but I don't know.
I don't either.
But, people have been disrespecting Multiban all these times. They say he's got a fake chest. They say that's all him. So you know what? No, I'll double down on that. That's his hair. Okay. That's his chest. Yeah, you're getting the full Montalban.
It's definitely his chest. That's such a weird thing to be like, oh, they faked that chest.
It's just too perfect.
Ugh, that's weird. That's such a... Okay, that was my only question.
All right, Chelsea, so Space Seed, what do you think?
I liked it. I liked it more the first time I saw it. The second time I saw it, it kind of angered, the feminist in me. I didn't realize how, gross Khan is. Grabbing women, forcefully. And, oh, my God. He's a monster.
It's that classic abuser, though, where he's he's trying to make it sound like it's up to you. Yeah. Stay or get out. Stay and do exactly what I want or leave forever.
Yeah. And then when she's like, well, I think I'll stay. And he's like, oh, how long are you going to grace me with your presence? Yeah. It's like, wow, dude. I don't know. That part stuck with me, unfortunately. But, I love this episode, nonetheless. I don't know. I feel like I saw this after I saw Wrath of Khan for the first time. Because I was very much like, who is this guy? What's this all about? Why is everybody talking about it? And then we watched it and I was like, oh. But I liked it. I thought the stretching was ridiculous. Oh, yeah. And then, when he meets up with all of his people and they, woke them up or whatever.
Well, they're doing the same.
And, there's just, this lady in the background. And she just keeps, super dramatically stretching and just kind of, looking around the room. She's super uncomfortable, doesn't really know when she's allowed to stop. That was great. Also, God, their boobs were so pointy. What is that? Is that a
60s?
Is that a 60s thing? They're like Minecraft boobs.
Yeah, they're very...
It was really weird.
Yeah, just a few pixels.
Yeah. I was like, oh my God. I don't really think I had any thing for this episode that I didn't like other than Khan just being an abuser. But he is the villain.
I think the thing you'll notice too is that these original series will run almost 10 minutes longer than the rest. Did you feel any of that?
No, because it's my favorite.
Yeah. You know what I liked, and I picked up on this time, was how strong Uhura was when like being forced to like she didn't talk, but she never like gave in. She never did what they said, even after being hit. Like she was super badass.
Yeah, she's super amazing. I did realize this time around that Sulu and Chekhov wasn't in it, but you said Chekhov isn't even on the show yet.
Yeah.
And Sulu was busy.
Yes.
So.
Yeah. George Takei's off filming movies, and Chekhov doesn't appear to season 2.
Okay.
Which was a bout of contention when Wrath of Khan came out and Khan did his I never forget a face.
Oh, but he didn't know him.
Yes.
See, now it's coming full circle.
But you could also say Chekhov was a part of the lower decks in season 1. He didn't make it to the bridge, so maybe Khan passed him in the the hallways.
Oh.
Probably he memorized all the ship schematics, probably memorized the personnel. And
Yeah.
So that never really bothered me.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, original series is always a win for me.
What did you think about Khan Super Soldier and his final battle against Kirk? With Kirk basically just beating him to death.
He just pulled like a plastic like hand soap pump out of a console. What?
Yeah.
And he just beats him with it?
Him.
Like, it didn't make any sense. That guy literally like opened a door that was locked, punched a dude, and he flew down the hallway, and he gets taken out by a hand soap dispenser.
Doesn't bother Kirk at all. Like, he fights gods, he fights robots.
Yeah.
Like, oh, super soldier.
He's like, you're just a peon.
Yeah, I'm not too worried about it.
Yeah, that was... I don't know. It was so weird. But I love how cheesy the original series is.
That's part of the charm.
It is. I don't know. This was a really good episode. Very strong. Very good.
All right, do you want to rate Space Seed?
Am I doing from 1 to 10?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm probably going to say that this is, It was going to be a 9, but then, like, Khan got all, like, rapey, and so now it's an 8.
Okay. 8.
Deduct points for rape, always.
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 You hear that, kids? That's good.
Yes, if it's rapey, you take points away.
Yep.
Yes.
Never add.
No! You're sick.
No, I was agreeing with you. Oh, you gave it 8. Coincidentally, that's also the score I gave it back when. The overall score Spacey got was an 8.22 from Star Trek Wars. The Council gave it a nice 9/11.
Wow.
9.11 from the Council.
Okay.
And if you want to catch the official Star Trek Wars review all the way through, you can find it on episode 19 titled Tooth Decay.
Ew.
Tooth Decay.
Tooth Decay sounds...
Yeah, George Takei. Yep, Tooth Decay.
Wait, why is it called that? He's not even in it.
That was a long time. That was season 1. That was like 8 years ago. I'm sure it's stupid, but that's all I can tell you.
I'm sure it makes total sense.
Yeah.
It's a real had to be there kind of thing.
All right.
So I think the council just forgot to take away rapey points, and then we would have been on the same page.
And this was a different time when this came out. There was back in 2014, it was a whole different world. We didn't look at the world through that lens.
I feel like you're wrong. I mean, I feel like it's always been pretty frowned upon to be rapey.
All right, so we both agree.
Yes.
Let's move on to next generation. Star Trek The Next Generation, Season 3, Episode 13, Deja Q. Picard's nemesis Q, claiming to have lost his powers, appears on the Enterprise. Some of Q's enemies arrive to take advantage of his vulnerable state. All right, Chelsea, let's see how close you came in your synopsis. Picard's nemesis, Q, claiming to have lost his powers, appears on the Enterprise. Some of Q's cohorts arrive to redistribute his powers. But wait, that's not the synopsis, but that is something that happens in the episode. So I think we have an overall winner here.
Wait.
Because one of his cohorts does arrive and redistributes his powers.
What was the correct answer?
His enemies arrive to take advantage of his vulnerable state.
Oh, I said redistribute his powers.
Yes.
I was like, you set me up. You read me the wrong synopsis.
But it happened.
Yes, it did.
So it kind of worked out. So we will give that to you. Do you have any questions with Deja Q before we jump into your thoughts?
I don't.
All right. Observation time. What'd you think of Deja Q? My guess is this might be your favorite one of the evening.
Yeah. I was a little distracted.
Oh, from what I told you?
Yeah, because you told me some...
I thought that would enhance the viewing, not distract you.
I don't... No. That was a weird thing to say.
I thought you had the right to know. You want to tell the listeners?
You can tell the listeners.
Well, right before Q appears, I thought I would give her a funny anecdote about, John Delancey appearing nude and that he couldn't really... is it hot in here?
Do you want me to do it?
Go for it.
He said that he didn't have a cock sock big enough to cover his junk, so he just did it naked on set.
Yeah.
Ugh.
What a fun story. All right, let's get into the comedy.
It was so hard to watch after that. It's still one of my favorite episodes, but I don't know. This is awesome. I think this is my favorite Q episode.
Yeah.
But the last Q episode's really good too. So I don't know. Just John Delancey just nails comedy. And also Riker and his facial expressions, he was killing it.
Yes.
He was just straight up looking at Picard all the time are you sure you want to do that?
That's not the only first officer this week that you acknowledge the
yes.
great facial.
Yes. We'll get to that. I'm excited about that. Yeah, I love this episode. I don't know. I mean, I think everybody wants to know why Q is so scared of Guinan.
Yeah.
I don't think it's because she just stabbed him with a fork, but I love that he just refers to her as a dangerous creature. What are you talking about? Do you ever get to find out?
No.
What? Okay.
Not yet. But it just so happens that John Delancey and Whoopi Goldberg are in season 2.
Whoopi's in season 2 of Picard too?
Yeah, Picard invited her after season 1 when he was on The View to come to season 2.
Oh, that's awesome.
So we don't know if they'll get anything, but no, we never really find out about. But you see this more in Q Who, the first Borg episode.
Okay.
They also have an encounter there where, very similar, Q is warning Picard about this creature that he has on his ship.
Okay.
Speaking of Riker, he has that great line, "I don't need your fantasy women." So
he gives them to Worf, and Worf's like, I mean, yeah, I'll take it.
Can't complain.
I'm not going to turn away a fantasy woman. Obviously, his eat any good books lately.
Yeah, that's great lines.
Classic. But I really loved that in this episode, Data was actually the most human character out of the two center characters, right? I thought that was really fun. Also loved that he was really the only one that Q would really listen to.
Yeah.
The rest of the crew, he's like, "No, screw you. I'm going to do what I want." But when Data would say when he was like, "Who does he think he is talking to me like that?" And he was like, "Well, he thinks he's in command," and he is.
Yes.
He just shut up. He didn't he didn't throw a fit or anything. He was just an angsty teen when he was in engineering, and that was fantastic.
Yeah, Data was definitely the best one to escort Q.
Oh, God, yeah. And I think that's probably why Picard did it, because he's not human, so he can't really be tricked, right? He could be, but not as easily.
Yeah, and he doesn't have any contempt or any of this feelings of hostility. He's the best person just to be straight with Q and not fall for anything. And
doing his part. And the 10 ice cream sundaes was great. Every time they mention that line where he's like, "Well, when Counselor Troy is upset, she eats chocolate." I think of that really gross episode where she's making weird noises and eating chocolate.
What episode is this?
It's that where she's talking about the chocolate and is it with Riker or something?
And she's just
No, it's almost sexual in nature.
Oh, that's more moaning.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you remember?
Yeah.
Every time. I don't know why that's the first one I think of, but it is. And so that's pretty unfortunate overall.
They were still trying to find their way in writing women in the 90s.
Right. Okay. Let's see. I thought Jordy was great. I don't feel like he usually takes like a stern tone with anybody. He's usually just kind of like sassy and passive aggressive and like, ugh, but like never just like in your face. Like get to the damn controls. Also, I thought it was interesting when he told Picard, like, he's not worth it. Like, I can tell you right now, he's not worth it. That's like, to me, from what I've seen, that's kind of not the normal Geordi we get.
Yeah.
Like I said, he's sassy, he's snarky, and he's like a little bitter at times, but he's usually like the one that's really understanding. Let's see. I feel like I'm forgetting so much.
Yeah, there's a lot. This is definitely one of his best episodes for sure. Just performances, writing. This was his 4th appearance.
Okay. Out of 5?
No,
on
he
Next
has
Gen?
plenty more. He usually comes in for at least an episode a season.
So 7?
Yeah, he had 2 episodes in season 1. He only had that 1 episode in season 2 with the Borg, and then this is his 1 episode of season 3.
Okay.
He'll be back in season 4 to send them all to Nottingham, Sherwood Forest. Yeah. Robin Hood stuff.
Okay. Yeah, I love that they dressed him in like the ugliest clothes they could find too. It was old. Yeah. And then like the other Q just looks like a Ken doll.
What'd you think of the alien race that they were helping that with the moon?
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. Their mouths are so gross. They have like little anus mouths. Like little... Ugh.
Yeah.
I couldn't take anything they were saying seriously because I just was like looking into the void. I'm like, oh, God. Like if I was Picard, I would refuse to let them on my view screen. Be like, no, I don't need to see you. This is good.
Yeah.
The more I see you, the less I want to save you. So it's best if we just talk on the phone. But they seemed fine. They didn't have much personality, but they served their purpose. So I love that Data got his weird maniacal laughter and then immediately was like, I do not know. It's kind of something from like a scary movie.
That's a great moment too, because seems like it's so hard to fake laughing that it's not believable. But Brent Spiner, every time he laughs, every time I watch this episode, of which I've probably seen 30 times, gets me every time. It's just so genuine and hilarious.
And I love that like Troy, she like starts laughing, and I don't think that was like maybe scripted. Like it's just funny when somebody really starts laughing. It is contagious. Yeah. So I'm glad that they just kind of allowed her to like chuckle because that was pretty cute. Yeah. I also like Picard and Riker very much looking at him like, what the fuck? Like, oh my God, he shorted out. Like, Geordi, get up here. But this is a fantastic episode.
Okay. Do you want to rate it?
Yeah, it's a 10.
A 10 from Chelsea. Very good. I gave it a 9. It had an overall score of an 8.97. So super awesome, which is why it's the 10th best Next Generation episode. The Council, you guys at Vote at Home, gave it an 8.9. So we're all right in there. Okay. And you can catch the official Star Trek Wars review on this episode in episode 62 called The Nicki Minaj. All right. You ready for Deep Space Nine? Mm-hmm. Star Trek Deep Space Nine, Season 5, Episode 22, Children of Time. The investigation of a planet surrounded by an energy barrier reveals a colony founded by the Defiant crew members when the barrier caused them to crash 200 years in the past. Now, this was a tricky synopsis. Chelsea, let's see how close you are to it. The investigation of a planet surrounded by an atmosphere... I don't think we give it to you.
What? It counts. It was an atmosphere. It was a barrier atmosphere.
By an atmosphere reveals a colony founded by space people.
Wait, no, that counts too. They're
Space people?
Yes, technically they're space people. They live on a space station.
All right. The investigation of a planet surrounded by atmosphere reveals a colony founded by space people when the atmosphere caused them to crash in the mid-1900s. Okay. I don't know about that.
Oh my God.
Very specific, though.
I thought this was a totally different episode. And then after we recorded the opening, I was like, oh shit, that's not it at all.
That was a tougher synopsis. That was tough.
Space people.
Yeah, in the mid-1900s. All right, Chelsea, any questions that you had coming from this, or you want to jump into observations?
I'm having a hard time just like thinking of questions. They might just come up while I'm talking.
Well, this is the weird thing that we're doing. We're just testing, watching 5 episodes. Like what sticks?
Yeah,
like
because I didn't take notes, and I didn't take notes on purpose.
Okay, so what jumped out at you on this episode?
Okay, Odo, not Odo.
Had you seen this episode before?
Yes.
Did you? Okay.
Yes, he is like so cool. It's really weird. So like obviously his face is better because he says like, oh, I got better at shapeshifting. Which one is stupid? That doesn't make any sense. But that's neither here nor there.
Wait, okay. Why?
Because they supposedly, if they would have tried to leave that planet, they would have crashed 200 years in the past. But they're already in the current moment. So aren't they the same age? Isn't our Odo actually like older and more experienced?
No, our Odo, who's being held in a container right now.
Yes.
The Odo that we see has been on that planet for 200 years. So he's Odo after 200 years stranded on that planet.
Oh.
So he's had 200 years to perfect shapeshifting because really in the grand scheme of things, I believe they even say like Odo is one of the younger changelings that were sent out. So he's still kind of a baby.
He's just a baby.
Yeah, so he's had 200 years of just being on this planet to kind of get better at that.
Okay. Well, he was cool.
Yeah, I love Odo in this.
He looked like big. Like our Odo is just like very like small, narrow shoulders.
Yeah.
Like I don't know what they did to Renee, but like he looked like he beefed up. Like he looked taller. Yeah. He looked like buffer, like broad shoulders. I was like, oh damn, Odo.
Well, that's how you do it. Like if you can perfect that face, pop some abs down there.
Yeah.
Get some pecs.
He looked more masculine.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And like, I love our Odo. Don't get me wrong, but it was just crazy. I was like, oh, it's like Odo 2.0.
I love the confidence in him.
And like, he's like more like in touch with his like humanity and his emotions. And I'm like, oh, I love this guy. I figure
this guy's been waiting 200 years knowing that he was going to be the only one that survived that crash to be alive when the Defiant comes back 200 years from now. So he's just been waiting to see Kira, knowing he's going to see her. And that's kind of what leads to the heartbreaking ending, but so great.
I love that it turned out to be him that changed the flight path. Like that's very our Odo thing to do. So like, I thought that was cool. And I don't care if it pissed Kira off. I just called her Kira. I'm sorry. I don't know why. Like she gets mad about everything, so she'll get over it. She's just angsty all the time.
Well, I love that because you know that they're not going to stay on that planet. So something has to happen. But the way I love that ending because something's going to go wrong, but I didn't see that coming. And it was a great ending to it.
Yeah. I don't think it makes any sense that she took her frustration out on our Odo. Like, bitch, he was literally in a bucket, chill. Like he had nothing to do with this. Like,
right.
Oh my God.
And he didn't have to say anything.
No. So. Like he was just like, I'm going to be honest. And he linked with me, so I know everything that happened. Oh, by the way, he's the one that does this. And she's like, how dare you? It's like, come on, man. He was jelly.
Yeah.
Like Odo 2.0 literally had to stick his hand in jelly to link with him.
And old Odo was jelly of new Odo because new Odo has a shot. So he's jelly too.
Everybody's jelly.
And this is the first time that we see that Kira now knows that Odo does have feelings for her. So
yeah, I was wondering about that because like I've seen all of DS9 for the most part.
Yeah.
So I know like the relationships that happened, but I didn't remember where this fell into that. But I don't know. Always great to see Jadzia. Oh,
Yeah.
oh my God, I love her. She's so sweet.
And she blamed herself for the crash because
Yep.
she just wanted to science.
Yeah. Oh God, O'Brien's relative, ancestor. What is she?
Oh, the main woman. Yeah. Yeah. Descendant.
Descendant.
Yeah. Look like
I don't know.
Colomini in a wig.
Yeah, I don't know what it means to be a handsome woman, but I think that's it. Holy cow. I was like, she is O'Brien. You're not a descendant. You're nothing. You're O'Brien. You're Miley O'Brien. Like, it's very upsetting. I love that Bashir just like,
he was loving it.
oh my God, I love that he was like dogging O'Brien for like being with Rita. Apparently she's not attractive is what I gleaned from that conversation. Yeah. And then he's like, who is that? And he's like, I don't know, but she's gorgeous. Like talking about his
going
wife.
around.
He loved it.
He's going to Worf like, yeah, I'm a pretty big deal. He's going to O'Brien like, so.
It was amazing. I love O'Brien's just like level of like grumpiness with all of the kids because that's how I feel around kids all the time. It's just like, like, why are you watching me? Why are you asking me questions? I don't want to be your friend. Like, I'm not going to be here long enough. Please leave me alone.
But I did feel that turn at the end too when he finally kind of lets his guard down and is working with this girl whose name is Molly, and she's just talking about how what she wants to do after the plant, what she's going to do next year, and you can tell it finally kind of breaks him.
Yeah, I was going to get to that.
Okay,
but never mind.
Well, you still can.
No, you already covered it.
Did you like that? Did that work for you?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, but I think more than anything, I like that DS9 is not one of those shows where everything has to be happy and back to where it should be by the end of the episode. Mm-hmm. Like, I feel like maybe with the exception of Enterprise, that's because I don't know enough about it.
Sure.
Any of the other series would have suddenly at the last minute found a way to go home and save all these people, and it would have been happily ever after.
Right, which
like,
they led you to believe.
Yeah, on DS9, like, you're not going to get that. Like, it's not ever going to... I mean, sometimes it's a happy ending, but most of the time it's like, no. Like, there's consequences for what happens, and you're going to hear or see it later down the road. Like, I like that. It's more realistic.
Yeah, and they go that old Star Trek route because they're like, hey... we have a theory. We can do this. So you think it's going that way.
Yeah.
Then you find they're being lied to. And that, is it Yedrin? I think Dax knows that he's actually sending them to crash. And then they figure it out and then decide to leave, but then decide to stay. And then Odo sabotages them and they don't. And the episode ends, but you also have things that happen from this episode, like Odo's feelings. Like there are things, remnants that will carry on, which is something I love about Deep Space Nine.
Yeah. Yeah, I loved seeing Cisco. It seems like it's been a minute since I've seen Cisco.
It's just nice hearing his voice again.
Yeah, I was going to say that. Like right as it opened, like just hearing that voice with like the Stardate captain's log instead of the other voices of the other captains.
Just seeing him with children and just playing and being human. But you also have what I love about Deep Space Nine too is when they're talking about it and everybody's going around the table talking about if they should stay or not. And it's that kind of conflict that I love where Kira's telling O'Brien, like, hey, the prophets will look after your family. And Miles is like, well, no offense, but I don't believe in your prophets, so I don't care. Yep. And Worf's like, well, I think we should do it. And he's like, and O'Brien's like, yeah, but you don't see your son, so it doesn't really affect you. Like, just calling him out of being a bad father to Alexander, just putting that out there, I think is awesome.
Yeah, I also liked when he was like, oh, I'm just listening. And they're like, okay, so what do we... He's like, no.
Yeah.
I'm going to hear you out, but no.
No, decisions
like, we're
made.
not doing that. Like, it's my call. It's stupid. Like, it was a little annoying how they kept saying, like, you're going to kill all these people. All 8,000 people are going to die. They're not dying. It's literally like the snap from like the Avengers. Like they're just never going to have existed.
Yeah, they're just
like,
unliving.
It's not like they're like blowing their planet up and it's going to be a painful, bloody mess. Like they're literally just vanishing. Like they were never there. Like the planet will be untouched.
No Stovacor for those House of Mogs, though.
Yeah, they weren't even Klingons.
They were in their heart.
Like I said, they weren't even Klingons. I don't know. Worf handled that a lot better than I would have. But yeah, so I love Cisco laughing at O'Brien at the end.
Yeah.
The kid's like, you don't look busy.
She's an O'Brien, all right.
Because he just has like the best smile.
Yeah.
Like,
it's always nice to see him happy.
It. But yeah, it was, I really liked this episode. I had seen it before, but I didn't remember the beginning of it. I remembered as soon as Odo and Kira were like sitting under that tree and she's like praying over her own grave. I'm like, that's weird, but I kind of like it. Like, I don't know why, but it feels right.
Yeah, it's got to be very confusing to the prophets to be praying over your own grave.
Yeah, I really like this episode. Like I said, I like that it's not all puppies and butterflies at the end.
Yes.
I missed that.
Yeah, we'll get a lot more of that in the weeks to come, I'm sure.
Okay.
All right, Chelsea, do you want to score this one?
I think I'm going to give this one an 8.
Okay, very good. The overall score from Star Trek Wars was a 9.34, but the peer score, the fan council score, was an 8.73, so they're right in line with you. Cool. Of course, it's a 9.34 because I gave it a 10 because I love Deep Space Nine maybe too much. And you can catch our official Star Trek Wars review on episode 122 called Old Dough.
Old Dough. It's like a sourdough starter Odo.
Are you ready for Voyager?
Yes, I am.
Oh, yes. All right, Star Trek Voyager, Season 6, Episode 4, Tinker Tenor, Dr. Spy.
Can I change one of my inputs for the synopsis really quick?
Okay.
I think you know which one I want to change.
Let me take a look at it. Possibly. Is it a race?
Yes, I would like to change them to tater tots, please.
Okay. Let me input that now.
Actually, no, potates.
Okay.
Yeah, potates.
Got it.
Okay.
All right. The official synopsis is the Doctor's colorful daydreams are intercepted by alien raiders who glean enough information about Voyager to launch an attack. All right, let's see how close you get with these changes, Chelsea. The Doctor's colorful protocols
So stupid.
are intercepted by the potates who glean enough information about the EMH to clone him. So, no.
Oh, to launch an attack.
To launch an attack. But the original thing you had, I think, would have been, sounds like an actual good premise for an episode if you have the Doctor is intercepted by Ferengi trying to clone an EMH program.
Yeah,
that sounds like an actual episode.
Is, you know, what they do.
But you know, those potates.
Those potates got a potate.
That's exactly right. Any questions before we jump in? I mentioned Voyager. You actually had a smile on your face, so I'm really excited.
I did. You hear that, Wade Fraser? Fraser? Sorry, crap. I think I messed your name up.
Potates.
Sorry.
Gonna potate.
Yeah. Haters gonna hate. Potatoes gonna potate.
I think, knowing Wayne, he'd probably be more happy that you mispronounce his name, but like an episode of Voyager. Like, if that's the exchange, I think he'd be okay with it.
Okay. I guess we'll find out.
So what'd you think? Do you have any questions on this episode before we jump in?
I feel like I did have questions on this, but I don't know if I remember them.
Well, feel free to ask them as we talk about. What'd you think about this episode?
Okay. This episode was freaking hilarious. Just about the whole way through. Like, to be honest, the beginning, like the opening, what the hell?
Yeah.
Like, when he makes up, like, the song about Tuvok because he's going through Pon Farr.
Yes.
And it sucks that it ended up being fake. I was like, no! Like, I wanted everybody to be standing up and like, bravo! And I love Janeway doing the chef kiss. Also, by the way, she was freaking amazing in this.
Yeah.
I've never seen Janeway in an episode where I'm like, yeah, I like her. She was awesome.
Good. I hope we're done in the next 10 weeks. We're going to see a lot more of that kind of stuff because she certainly has her moments.
Oh my God.
Mulgrew is great.
And then let's talk about Chakotay.
In a positive light.
Yes. Dude was killing it.
With his face game.
Yes. You didn't even have to say anything. And I was like, dude, I know exactly what you're thinking. And I agree. It was so funny. Oh my God. It was just it was such a funny episode. Like, all of it. I don't know. It's so weird. So So here's a question.
Yeah.
Just to make sure I understood kind of what was going on. So the Potates hacked into Voyager, and they thought that he was the captain because they were hacked into his daydreams.
Right.
Them being hacked into his daydreams, is that what screwed up his subroutines? And that's why he could only daydream after that? Like
Yes.
he couldn't like get past that like obstacle?
So all the screw-ups he was having that he thought what he was doing and like daydreaming inappropriately out of like when he wasn't supposed to, that was them hacking in. So that was a lot of them messing with his subroutines.
Okay. Also love those little guys.
Yeah. You know,
Like-
over on the main cast, we make a lot of fun of Voyager with their aliens of the week and how just bland they are, just people in wigs. And these guys look cool.
Yeah.
And I love the just character that they brought.
They're like, it just seems like a whole like little like raider ship of like little ass kissers, right?
Yeah.
Like,
There's this whole hierarchy and like, tears and
their ears were gross, but that's the only complaint I have with the Potates.
yeah, a lot of personality coming through that. Tons of makeup.
Okay. The scene where they're talking through the viewing screen to the doctor thinking he's the captain. So like that bratty boss one is like talking. So the guy that screwed up and's like, please don't tell me, his face in that scene was amazing. Like, oh my God. Like it was just like this little terrified potato face. And I was like, oh no. It's so cute. Oh, it was so good. And then the doctor, like, it was so weird. He had so much confidence in his daydreams. And then, like, when he's actually doing it, I was just like, ugh. What's happening? He's, like, apologizing to him. Oh, my God. Yeah, I don't know. This was awesome. I think every aspect of it really worked for me.
A cool thing about this, too, a lot of times, you know, episodes of the week, they move on. We do see more of the emergency command hologram in the future too. So this does move into other future stuff. So that's cool too.
Yeah, I like the doctor, right? Like, I think my one con for this is Neelix.
Yeah.
It looked like he was falling asleep during his performance. It's like, how dare you?
Right.
How dare you?
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't stand that thing. Ugh. Which sucks, because when we met him, he was so nice.
Oh, Ethan Phillips
and he's
is
adorable.
great.
Oh my God, he was just like short and just like bubbly. And then like after that, it's like I really want to like Neelix, but he really does just look like the outer space version of Dog the Bounty Hunter, and I can't handle it.
Yeah.
Like with that fucking hair. Like, what is that?
Mullet and mutton chops.
Yeah, he's got like rainbow skin. I'm like, oh, dude. Like,
yeah, but Ethan Phillips is awesome.
He was so nice to me. I was wearing a Star Wars shirt and he was still nice to me. He told me I was wrong, but that's okay.
So yeah, this is number 10 on the list of Voyager. So theoretically, it should just get better from here, and I'm glad that we're starting at a high place for you.
Yeah, this was great. When they hacked into his fantasies, like the Voyager crew. Oh my God, that was so awkward. And then poor Seven. Like, because, like, the crew is just sitting there looking at her.
Yeah.
And, like, there's a chance it's not, correct. I don't know. But,
right.
like, still, like, I would feel really uncomfortable if the people from my work were, like, hacked into a fantasy and I was, like, laying there naked with some weirdo painting me. I'd be like, oh, guys, turn away. Like, this isn't even real, but please give me some privacy.
Right. And if it was any other crew member, that's what it would have been. Like, if it was B'Elanna, she would have tore the place out. But Seven's like, it's just nudity. Who cares?
Yeah. Good for her, because no, that would freak me the hell out.
Yeah.
But I love her, like, remark when she's like, well, it seems he's had a lot of time to practice. I was like, oh my God. And then when she kisses him, she's like, that was a platonic act.
Yeah.
Don't get any ideas, you freak. But I don't know. I thought it was interesting that, so the fantasies he was having, they were still very much his fantasies. He just couldn't get out of them, right? Like he couldn't stop them.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
I think it's so weird that like he dreams of like all of the main female characters like wanting him sexually.
It is weird for a program.
It is. Like That seemed so bizarre.
Like, why is this computer program just so hetero?
Yeah. Like, yeah, that is like a horny ass program.
Yeah.
It's just weird.
Could be adopting, like, because you met the actual Louis Zimmerman that created the EMH. Like, he's a pretty big a hound for the ladies, too. So maybe parts of that is in his, like, coding or something. Maybe that's just more of his maker kind of seeping in.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, there's no reason for him to care at all about that.
No, it didn't make any sense. But also absolutely loved how stupid they made Tom Paris look in one of his fantasies. When like Blonde is like, he's not half the man you are. And he like pans over and he's like, hi, and just like waving. I was like, yeah, that's more like it. Also, why did Harry Kim even have lines? Can we stop with that? He doesn't need to be on the show. Like, I don't know. Maybe I'd feel different if he was a nice human.
If he is an Ethan Phillips type.
But he's not a nice human. So, like, GTFO, sir. He's like the 40-year-old virgin, but ensign. I don't know. I really liked Voyager this week.
That's wonderful. That's really all we can ask out of this entire project. I don't know. Maybe we should just rename top 10 to just, did Chelsea like Voyager this week or Enterprise?
Yeah, that could be a quick podcast.
It's too quick,
right?
Yeah. We got to build up to it.
No.
All right, we'll see you guys next week. All right, so do you have any more you want to say about this one?
Do we see the potates again?
I don't know.
What are they called?
I don't know.
Okay. Space taters?
Yeah.
And their babies are called tater tots?
Yeah.
Adorable.
With spuds.
I don't think I have anything else, except for I really hope that I get more Chakotay moments that I like.
I hope so, too.
Oh, also, when he was like, get the photonic cannon, Tuvok's like, Vulcan, like, what the fuck face is gold. He's like, yes, Captain.
All right.
That was great. All right. Next.
What would you score this, Chelsea?
Oh, right. Can I give halves?
For you, yes.
I think I'm going to give it a 7.5.
Okay.
Well, yeah. Yeah, 7.5.
Okay, very good. I gave it an 8.
Okay.
It had an average score of an 8.56 at Star Trek Wars. The Star Trek Wars Council gave it a 7.83.
Okay.
So right in there with you.
Sweet.
And you can catch that official review on episode 130 of Star Trek Wars called Size Before Eyes.
This wasn't the same lineup with John Delancey, was it?
No.
Okay, good.
All right, are you ready to jump into Enterprise?
Yeah.
You might have a few questions. Okay, so jumping into this crazy endeavor, I knew that there might be some issues with Enterprise if we're going through the top 10, and because in the third season, it's basically one story. So if we have any out of there, there's going to be questions. And then when we go into season 4, it's mostly just groups of 3-parters and 2-parters. So we might have some issues. Looking forward into the top 10, a lot of the stuff going forward will be, looks like mostly like parts, like part 1 of stuff. So you won't be too confused.
Okay.
But here, we are in season 3, episode 19, which is just down to the very end of this season-long arc called Damage. And in it, Captain Archer has been returned to Enterprise by the Xindi Council awaiting a hearing. But after a heavy attack by the reptilians, Enterprise is stranded without a functional warp drive. Now, Chelsea, you said T'Pol has been returned.
Oh, yeah, shit. It was Archer.
To Enterprise by the Vulcan High Command Council awaiting a hearing. But after a heavy attack by the Xindi, the Enterprise is stranded without a functional ship.
I know you.
Okay, all right. Yeah, that's halfway.
Yeah.
It's true. Mm-hmm. It's true. Warp drive, ship.
Yeah.
It's all the same. Do you have any questions about this?
I do. Okay, so is it normal for Vulcans in this show to do heroin, or is that like a weird story arc or character arc in this season?
This season.
Okay.
It's not typical of most Vulcans to do
I've never seen a Vulcan do drugs.
space rocks. Yeah.
So that was weird. Why did they have to steal Demar's warp coil? Why couldn't, and I asked you this, but I'm asking again, because it doesn't make any sense. So they needed it so they could get out of there, and they were basically like, hey, screw you, guy, I don't care about your fate.
Who, the aliens?
Yeah, Demar.
Okay.
Demar's ship.
Yeah, we got to get home.
Yeah. But why not tractor beam them, like take their warp coil and then warp them home with a tractor beam? And before you answer, you said it was because of warp field. Like if they didn't have a warp field, because when they warp, it's only big enough for the ship that's warping. But Demar's ship should be equipped with a warp shield because they literally just stole his warp coil. So why can't they just like tow him home?
Because that's not what the story is and what they wanted to tell. I think another question would be, couldn't they say, hey, can you just jet us over to this conference real quick and then take us back and then you guys can leave? We just need to make it to that. We have 3 days to get to this conference with Degra. That's why we need your warp drive. So can you just like shuttle us over, like give us a lift and then bring us back? But it's like on Lower Decks when is it Keishan's like, why don't we just warp out? And everybody's like, well, you can't do that. That's ridiculous. Okay. It's because, you could do that. There's a lot of reasons, but it would go against everything that they're trying to tell in the story, which is what are the lengths Archer will go to complete this mission? And what are the costs?
Okay. All right.
I'd be happy to answer any other questions you have throughout, but what did you think just jumping into this? Because prior to this, you saw the series premiere and about half of another episode, both in season 1.
Yeah.
So the characters have come a long way in those couple years. They're in a much darker place. Most of all of them are compared to where you saw them last. So what did you think about this?
I mean, the logical one's a crackhead. That's problematic.
That's very.
So I have a couple grievances I'm going to air now, and I won't bring them up again while we're reviewing this.
Okay.
But I understand that Enterprise is the newest Star Trek before all of this new Trek that we've been getting. It just seems like they stole a lot from other shows. For example, T'Pol's outfit is an actual ripoff of 7 of 9. Like, ridiculous. Get your own shit. And
sadly, just like 7 of 9, when you put them in an actual uniform, which they do on Voyager and Enterprise every now and then, they look so much better than just dressing up in these tight pajamas. They look great in uniforms, but it's the Berman era.
Yeah. Also, Archer's whole, like, what would you do for a Klondike bar moment?
A lot.
Apparently. And I don't know anything about this show, so don't scream at me. It kind of seemed like a ripoff of Cisco and the Dominion War. Like, where he's like, look, I'm going to cheat and I'm going to lie and I'm going to kill people. And that's just what I have to do.
Right.
They literally put him in the same, like, moral dilemma.
Yeah. How far will a good man go for the good of the many?
Honestly, just, like, get your own shit.
Agree. And Avery Brooks can pull that off.
Yeah.
Perfect. Man, Scott Bakula is just so huggable.
I know.
It's hard to see him act mean.
Yeah. It's also weird because in the first episode I ever saw, which was also the first episode ever of Enterprise, he got like slapped on the back of the head and he was knocked unconscious for like 3 weeks.
That happened a lot.
And in this show, he's obviously like had the living shit beat out of him and he's like, oh, I'm good. What's up? Let's do this.
Also a reoccurring theme is Archer being held captive.
Oh my God.
This episode starts with him being held captive.
Oh, but I did love the little dinosaur Zindi.
I wrote that down. There was a couple things this week I'm like, I think Chelsea will love it. Yes. That was, the aquatic Zindi. She's going to like that.
So cute. Little reptilian water dinosaur. And he's like, hey, where am I? And he's like, fuck you. And he just like doses him. He's like, I'm sick of your talking. Don't knock on the glass. It hurts our ears. Oh, he was super cute. The rest of the Zindi were fugly.
Yes.
Ugh. Especially the one that was doing all the talking. He had like the weird antennas sticking out all over his head.
You're talking about the reptilian one?
I don't know. He looked like a sea urchin, kind of, but like with bent antennas all over his head. Because
you had like kind of the normal looking guys with some forehead ridges. Yeah. And then you had like the green.
Yeah, with like the cat eyes.
Yeah, those are like their, almost like Jimitar. The reptilians are like their military guys.
Yeah, they were creepy.
And the insectoids, which you don't see here because they are fully CGI and horrible.
Still got to be better than Babylon 5.
Yeah. Yep, it is.
Great. Let's see. I honestly don't really like T'Pol as a character, or an actress. Actor. I don't think she's very good. Maybe it's the writing. But I was like, wow, I'm getting nothing from you.
Yeah.
Like, even when she was having a panic attack and you explained the backstory on that, like, that's really traumatizing. Like, that is, like, that's a really dark thing to happen to anybody. And I don't know, I guess I just kind of felt like maybe I'd like wandered into like an improv night at like our local like acting school.
Well, they're still reserved. Like, I keep reverting back to the great season of Lower Decks, but it was like the Vulcans, like, you are out of control. Like,
your outbursts will not be tolerated.
Right. Like, her just losing control is still somewhat in control compared to others. But I see what you're saying.
But like, her acting sucked. Yeah. Like, it's not the character. I understand Vulcans aren't, with the exception of Spock, really, Vulcans aren't like super dynamic to watch on screen.
Fair enough.
Which is part of their charm. It's just like, oh, God.
I totally get that.
But she was just, I don't get anything from her.
And for me, T'Pol is one of the biggest surprises for me in the series run. I think she does go a long way, but there's moments that aren't great.
I liked Hoshi.
Yeah.
I liked her a lot. I really liked Malcolm Reed.
Yeah, that was a bombshell.
I think I have a thing for Reeds.
That was a huge bombshell you laid on me. Like,
yeah,
because Lower Decks. He's a Kirk Sunday with Trip Tucker sprinkles, but you're not about that.
No, Trip Tucker is not the hottest guy on Enterprise.
This is a bombshell.
Make
for me.
way for Mr. Reed.
Hey,
I'm serious. Trip Tucker has like a ski slope nose, and it freaks me out. And like, okay, growing up in the South, all my family's Southern. So like that little Southern drawl is not cute to me.
Oh, you like that British?
Yeah, like, I know that like, to some people like the Southern drawl is like, oh, it's attractive. It's different. No, I grew up being yelled at in that voice. I don't have fond memories, but thank you.
Enough.
But yeah, I thought, what's his name?
Travis Mayweather.
Yes, I really liked him.
Yeah, and Anthony Montgomery.
So we get to see, is he like a normal reoccurring
Yes.
character? Oh, okay, good.
He's kind of like their ensign, their like Harry Kim.
Okay, but good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He doesn't get a ton either, unfortunately. Not a lot.
He's fantastic. Even just his presence in the scene, I was like, I really like this. There's something about him. I'm just like drawn to him.
And just meeting him in person. He's got so much personality. Yeah. So it's good to see some of that seep through in this one.
Didn't we meet Tuvok?
Yes. We met him when we met Ethan Phillips and Robert Picardo.
Yes. Okay. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I just got really excited. Okay. Porthos.
Yeah.
And Phlox.
Oh yes. That was the other thing I wrote down.
Love them.
Phlox.
Yes. He has a like very similar voice to the Doctor from Voyager to me. Like
same like cadence and stuff.
Yes, like his like inflection, the way he delivers his lines is like I like that. But it's almost like a mix of the Doctor and like Wayoon, or I guess it'd be Shran.
Yeah, he's a little like softer spoken.
Yeah.
Definitely much sweeter.
Yes, but oh my God, I really like Phlox a lot.
Yeah, that
but
won't change.
I liked him in the first episode.
Yeah.
Oh, he's just adorable. And then he delivers a beagle baby, so of course he's my favorite. And Porthos is the sweetest. Oh, so cute. And yeah, Scott Bakula's cool.
Yeah.
Archer's cool, I think. Yeah, like I said, not a ton of context for this episode. I liked the characters except for T'Pol. Oh, I do like that the ship is all beat up, and you said it stays like that.
It does, because there's nowhere to go. So they're down to, I think at this point, I don't remember episodes they had in season 3, but they're down to maybe like the final 5 or so.
Okay.
So this is just, they have nowhere to go. So this is just how the ship is. They are in trouble.
Okay. I guess I could actually talk about the storyline. Since I didn't do that. I just told you about why I like all the cute characters.
That's what we're here.
I thought it was pretty cool. Like, having no context, not knowing what came before this. The previously on was very vague.
Yeah.
It was like a really solid storyline, though. Even the part where T'Pol's like, give me that crap.
Yeah.
Like,
they kind of laid it out for you. Like, this is what's happening.
I do love that she went to Phlox and she was like, I need to get better. Like, this is what I did. I haven't told anybody. Like, if you need to tell the captain, I get it. And I love that he's like, no, this is between a patient and her doctor. Like,
yeah, he's here to help.
I'm not going to like narc on you. But I thought that was really big of her, coming from her past and what happened to her and why she even turned to substance abuse. That she was like, I need to do better. I can't do better. I thought that was really cool. I liked the whole, I know I talked shit about it earlier, but I did like the will he, won't he with Archer. Like, I didn't think he was going to steal their warp core.
Yeah.
Like, after the first interaction with Demar, I was like, oh, he's not going to do that.
Right.
And then he did. I was like, oh, shit. Like, I don't know. It was a really solid storyline. If Enterprise is like this, I might be more inclined to watch more of it.
I was going to ask that too. Did this do enough to push you into wondering what happens next? Because it's all just kind of going into each other from here on out to the finale.
Yeah, because
Because I believe there is at least one more episode in this top 10 we're doing for Patreon after this episode of this season. So this was episode...
Where does it rank?
Higher up, a couple. Not next week or the week after, maybe the week after. But we got a few weeks. So
maybe we could just watch so that I have context. Like, watch up until it.
Because I believe this was episode 19. I think it's episode 22 or so. So there's only just a few we would have to watch.
So I get a conclusion.
Yeah.
That'd be cool. Yeah, I'm definitely interested in seeing where this goes.
Okay.
That opening song.
It's problematic. It's polarizing for sure.
And like, look, I don't care how much shit I get for this. It's dumb as hell. Like, and I'm convinced that the people that are now like, oh, it's great, and then start singing it, you're only doing it because you think that that's what you're supposed to do because it's old, and now there's new stuff out. So now you need to like respect the old Trek. No, it's dumb.
It definitely it hurts more coming off of like dark episodes.
Yeah, and the opening was super dark. And it's like, I got fit. No, that's horrible. It was all bad.
There was literally an episode in season 3 that started with a person being burned alive and screaming, and it fades into the song. That was the opening.
There's never a good time for that. No. Also, I don't get it. I was gonna try to be like, I get where they're coming from, but I don't. Like, every other Trek show has like this really great like orchestrated music, and they have that. Why do they have that?
And you know, it says they actually have a theme called Archer's Theme, which they play during the credits.
Ooh.
That is very pretty. I actually have some of it here.
Ooh.
About to kick in a little bit more. talked about that a lot on the podcast. Like, why make that?
Yeah.
Just make that the theme song.
It's got like the electric guitars, so like that more modern kind of rock feel you want, but without the ridiculousness. Yeah, that's really good.
So that's also why I would use that as the music when talking about Enterprise when we were still reviewing it on Star Trek Wars, because that's a great piece of music.
Yeah, it is.
I refuse to use the other.
Yeah, I don't get it, and don't try to explain it to me because I don't care.
All right, Chelsea, anything else?
Nope.
Okay. I know it's difficult, but what would you
7.
score this? A 7. That's still very strong. Still very strong. A 7.5 is what its final average score was. Okay. So you're right in there. I gave it an 8, and the council gave it an 8.
I'm sure having seen the episodes leading up to it, I probably would have scored it higher.
Absolutely. And the official Star Trek Wars review, you can find it on episode 68 of Star Trek Wars called Horgon Conclusion. All right. And we sent a poll out to the Star Trek Wars Council on our Facebook page asking them what their favorite pick from this week's list of episodes would be. And as you can guess, it was a pretty tight race, barely won by Space Seed. The biggest surprise of this poll being the episode that came in last, which was Deja Q.
What?
I think a lot of that has to do with the Council trying to throw some extra love, and deservedly so, towards underdogs like Voyager and Enterprise.
Okay. No, you don't sacrifice the greats to make the inferior feel okay.
Let's hear what a few of them had to say. Alex Cersei says, "This is a rare time I'm going with Enterprise. Damage is just a surreal episode." William Jenks says, "Those are all great choices. Been too long since I watched them to vote, but can't go wrong. I'm of the, quote, quit bashing Enterprise. It's pretty good. You just hate the theme song and those first couple gel rubbing scenes. School, though." So, and finally, John Carlo Cruz says, "I don't remember what Damage is about, but I think Chelsea will like Picardo doctoring it up."
Well, you weren't wrong.
All right, Chelsea, before we wrap it up, let's get into some final impressions. Before we say goodbye to this week's episodes and next week's 5 more episodes, erase these all from your memory. Mm-hmm. Let's get one last thought or impression from tonight's list of episodes. Just something that jumps at you when I say Space Seed.
Unfortunately, it's Ray Pecan, but Shatner's beautiful eyes.
Okay. Ugh. Deja Q.
Well, it used to be.
Shatner's eyes and Delancey's.
Oh, shut your mouth. It used to be good things. And now it's been
great things. Okay.
By gross fun facts I didn't ask for.
Children of Time.
Okay, honestly, this makes no sense, but every time you say that, I think Children of the Corn.
Okay, so you don't think of this episode
but
at all?
They could be planting corn.
They were, they were planting.
I think this one, what I think I'll always remember is like that Odo.
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
Odo 2.0. Like, God, he killed it.
Whenever they give like Rene Auberjonois anything, he crushes it.
Yeah.
There's an episode in season 3 called Facets where he links with Curzon Dax to becomes like Curzon, like infuses with him, and his face changes and he all changes, and he's so cool when he gets to just play it up a little bit and just change it.
Yep. I love
amazing.
That's what I think I'll always think of with that one.
Same, I think. Tinker Tenor, Dr. Spy.
I will never. I think it's like the opening scene. Like, oh my God.
Yep, that's hard to beat. It's just so crazy.
I really want the song that he sang for Tuvok. Like, I want that on my Spotify playlist.
And Damage.
It's dark. Mm-hmm. It's dark, but I like it. I don't understand it necessarily, but from what I saw, I liked it.
Okay. All right, Chelsea, for next time on our Top 10 Countdown, we're going to be covering the number 9 episodes from all 5 of those. Chelsea, I will say the names of next week's episodes, and let's see if you can pick the show they belong to.
Okay.
So next week, we're going to be covering, in no specific order, The Offspring.
The original series?
The Offspring is from The Next Generation, Season 3.
Ew, is Wesley in it?
No.
Okay, good.
Scorpion, Part 1.
Voyager.
That is correct. Scorpion Part 1 is the Season 3 finale of Voyager.
Okay.
A Taste of Armageddon.
TOS.
That is absolutely correct. TOS Season 1. Tacking into the Wind.
Tacking?
Into the Wind.
What do I have left? DS9?
And Enterprise.
I think that's Enterprise.
Tacking into the Wind is Deep Space Nine. It's about middle of the final chapter. The final 10 episodes of DS9, Tacking into the Wind is in the middle of that.
Okay.
So big stuff happening in that.
Yeah.
And then, of course, Affliction.
Enterprise.
Yeah, that's right. And Affliction is Enterprise Season 4, and I believe that's a Part 1 of 2. So it should be standalone from there.
Cool.
It'll to be continued, but you won't need to know anything heading into that, really.
Sweet.
And that will do it for the Star Trek Wars Patreon show. Thank you so much for your patronage. If you are not yet a member of our Patreon and want to join us for the rest of our Top 10 Countdown, head over to patreon.com/Star Trek Wars and become a member today. For just $3 a month. Yes, Chelsea.
Are we going to do the synopsis? Guesses? For the next ones?
Yep, when we open next week.
Oh.
Much like we did this week.
Okay. I'm just excited. Sorry.
I know.
I'll see myself out.
You're excited, man. These episodes are so good. I just want to do another 5-episode run right now.
Yeah, let's not.
For just $3 a month, you'll have access to all of our previous specials. That includes reviewing other television shows, movies, video games, along with our review of Babylon 5, currently at the near end of Season 1. For anyone at the $5 or more tier, you'll be eligible to sit in with us and guest host on a future episode if that's something you're interested in. Chelsea, thank you once again for jumping into this vast ocean of Trek with me. There's no one else I'd rather swim with.
Thank you for having me.
And we will see you guys next time on Top 10. Top 10.
Thanks for listening to Star Trek Wars.